Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Mulder. I want to talk to you today about rules. Not important rules, not big rules, not life or death rules, not legal, illegal type rules that govern our everyday life, but those, I guess, for want of a better word, silly little rules that you may impose upon your own collecting habits when it comes to your collection. I'm going to come back to this in a bit. What I want to show you is some reissues of albums that I've picked up over the last couple of years, some very recently. And as you can tell from the title of this email, it's a rational issue I have with vinyl reissues. One of these records I'm going to show you, I feel like I've really let myself down buying, and I kind of feel guilty playing it. In fact, I haven't played it since I first bought it, and this is crazy. And as I say, this is completely irrational. So bear with me on this when you actually find out what it is. But let's just show. So I've got reissues here that cover the last 40 years, and reissues are great. They allow you to get your hands on rare albums, remastered albums, things that you would want on record that you may not readily be able to get your hands on or be able to afford. So for instance, High Voltage, my favourite AC/DC album. I had this originally on cassette. Still have the cassette. I've had this on CD, and I was delighted to pick up the this vinyl reissue when it came out. Very happy to have it. I had this Highway to Hell from James Griffiths as VCLT. It's a 2003 reissue of a 79 album. Very happy to have that. I have that on CD, but I actually had that on CD after I got that. Again from VCLT, I think I got that from Greg the Egg. I'd mentioned in previous videos that I was very late to the party with Sabbath, certainly Aussie Sabbath, and I've kind of made it a I like the Aussie stuff, and when I see their albums, certainly on Discogs, occasionally they have them cheap, I pick them up. So this year I've kind of made a point of looking out for them, so I picked up I had the self-titled one. I actually had this as a Father's Day present, and what's really crazy about this one is I just sent my wish list to my wife and said, maybe the kids will like to buy me something off here. And she picked this one and went, and I wasn't so much surprised because it was on the list, but I asked her why she picked this one, and she said she picked it because it was probably the least scariest cover of a record to be a present from the kids. And I guess it says something when the creepy cover of Black Sabbath is the least scariest looking album on your wish list. But having said that, I've also picked up Master of Reality. I remember Billy Hurst almost busting a gut when I said I never heard of this album. So it was a recent competition that was talking about albums from the year of your birth, and this is probably one of the biggest albums from the year of my birth. Only just recently picked it up. So I have this on CD. I have this on CD. Volume 4 was another one that I picked up recently. I don't have this on any other format. And Sabotage, I don't have this on any other format either. So that's some 70s ones. Now moving into the 80s, and bearing in mind the core of my collection is 80s rock and metal. HMV in the UK recently had a sale, and these were going for a song. So I picked up Number of the Beast and Power Slave. Now both Number of the Beast and Power Slave, I have the original 80s pressings of these two albums. Then there's Judas Priest Turbo 30. I have the CD of this, but not original. Moving into the 90s, Megadeth, Rust in Peace, absolute classic. I was delighted to pick up this reissue. I'd kind of been looking around for an OG for a while. But it wasn't forthcoming. This was a great price. I've had this on CD as well. Same as Painkiller, Judas Priest. This goes for a fair amount as an OG, and I'm not too fussed about getting it on OG, but very happy to pick up the reissue, and I have this on CD as well. And a more recent purchase, this is something I've had on my Amazon wishlist for a long time, and it came down to about £11 or so I had to grab it. And this, I think, with the original release of this was 92, and I've not had a copy of this on CD or vinyl before. And but I've listened to it on YouTube a couple of times, so it's been one that I've been wanting for a while. And then from the 2000s, a couple of recent reissues, things I've had on CD and I've shown on CD recently, and there are a couple of Anthrax albums. So we've got the recent reissue of We've Come For You All, and the Greater of Two Evils, two of the albums from the John Bush era of Anthrax, which I really enjoy now. No, it's not as good as Joey Belladonna. It's a different band. It sounds like a different band, but I really do enjoy them. Now, so I'm generally okay with reissues, but one of those albums I've just shown, because of these irrational rules that I've given to myself, that I mean, rules are meant to be broken, but I've broken one of my fundamental rules. So, as I say, the core part of my collection is 80s rock and metal. To me, a collection has to have some kind of boundaries, otherwise it's just stuff. So my 80s rock and metal collection has to fall in between 1978 and 1991. Okay, it's out of the boundaries, but I've talked about that before. It has to be vinyl, has to be in vinyl format, and it has to be an OG, an original. I mentioned a couple of videos ago that things like Exodus Bonded by Blood, I would love to have that. There are reissues available. I've got it on CD, and I'll play the waiting game with that one. One day I will find a decent copy at a price I can afford, and and that's part of the thrill of having a collection. It's not just being able to just get anything. To me, it's been able to, it's wanting things, and then the thrill of the chase, and then finding it and cherishing it when you've got it. The Iron Maiden releases, re-releases, are allowed in my collection because I have OGs of them. The elephant in the room here is Turbo. I don't have an original 80s pressing of Turbo, but I've gone out and I've bought the reissue, and I feel like I've really let myself down here. It's really strange, the sort of feeling I've got in my stomach when I pick this up and look at it, and it's a brilliant album. The remastering of it is really good. Packaging's a bit disappointing, to be honest with you, but I've always liked Turbo. It's a classic album. I had it on CD. I know it like the back of my hand, and I would love to get hold of an original pressing of this. I just don't see it anywhere these days. And I saw it was John Vinylizer showed this, and he said it's on at Amazon now. It's a ridiculous price, and it was really cheap. But from the moment I bought it and I opened it, it just felt wrong owning this but not owning an original. It's okay. Say it's crazy. It's okay for me to own this. I'm happy to own this. I have an original copy. It's almost just like a spare, a reserve, something I can maybe listen to without worrying about messing up my original copy. But I don't understand why this upsets me so much. And it's, as I say, it's completely irrational. There are bigger things to worry about in the world, but this album highlights my irrational issue with vinyl reissues. I shouldn't have bought this. I should have waited till I got Turbo on vinyl and then picked this up. I don't know. You're probably all shaking your heads out there, but But there we go. But I want to know, do you have any irrational record collecting or CD collecting rules that you've applied that you will not break, even if it means you don't get an album? Or are you just completely easygoing and you'll get it on whatever format you want? And like I say, it's not even the format. I was happy to pick up the CD, and any of the other grails, 80s grails that I want that do have reissues out there, I will buy the CD and I will listen to the CD and I will enjoy the music, because ultimately it's the music that I'm really interested in. But I will hold out and for that 80s OG, and happily hand over my my money and have it in my collection and cherish it. And then who knows, maybe pick up a reissue after that in future. But there we go. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you have any rules? Let me know in the comments. Right, thanks for watching.